Acolyte spoilers in 3, 2, 1. It is hot. I'm packaging up orders. I've just finished watching the season finale of The Acolyte. It seems very apparent that there's more than one season kind of planned, and so I'm sure the announcement about season 2 is going to come at some point in the future, but they can kind of drag it along to get free social media advertising out of everybody clamoring for season 2. Now, if you enjoyed the Acolyte, if this was a whole bunch of stuff that you want from a Star Wars story, I am very, very glad. And please scroll away, because I do not want my rambling about my feelings to affect your enjoyment of the show at all. It is hard enough to find scraps of any joy in this particular moment that we are in the world. And I don't want something I say or something I feel to harm the joy of my friends. I have a lot of sadness about this episode because there is a lot of choices made about the Jedi Order and Jedi characters that are a way that I prefer not to receive the Jedi, and it is the story choice for this season and potentially future seasons as well for the way the story is going to be told. If the devil were to rise out of the depths of Tartarus right now, stand before me, and then offer to me a simple exchange of my soul for one piece of Western media and an intellectual property that I enjoy, doing non-attachment and actually explaining it to the audience rather than taking the easy way out, painting it as emotional suppression, and then piling all the Western baggage on top of an Eastern philosophy, I really think I would take it. Now, truthfully, part of that is because I am convinced I am not going to be allowed into the good place if the good place exists, in part because the last time I believed that the good place existed, it was the late 1900s. But especially given the way that I got to experience the High Republic through the High Republic stories, I thought this was going to be the Star Wars story that some character explained non-attachment to some other character like that character was 5, so that we could stop mischaracterizing non-attachment. But it's a linchpin of the conflict in the show, so I don't get to have that, and I'm probably not going to. And so the Jedi in this story are very much an allegory for police officers and law enforcement that protect their own bad actors and keep secrets, and by proxy make people less safe because of the secrets that they keep, and kind of as an arm of colonialism as well. And there's all of this, like, just the evils of bureaucracy in general wrapped around what is the Jedi Order. And so that's it. That's my sadness piece, and I am not going to convert this into an anger that I direct at writers or showrunners or anybody. And I most certainly am not going to direct it at people in the fandom that this was a whole bunch of the notes that they want from a Star Wars story. They got to have something that they want, that they have wanted, that has been kind of left out from Star Wars. I was really hoping that I was going to be able to put Saul next to Iroh and Oogway and Miyagi and a whole bunch of other really influential characters for me. Assuming there's a season 2, maybe Yoda gets to be Splinter this go round. That would be nice. But given where we're starting from and the way that the characterization of the Jedi as being sort of under pressure from the Republic and all this other stuff, I don't expect that I am going to get to have a version of Yoda that is from all the stories where I really love Yoda. I'm going to get a version of Yoda that is a cop protecting bad cops. And now, like, the pacing of the show, because of like short episodes and the way they had to cut it and edit it, that hurts certain aspects of the story, and the mystery now unraveled upon a rewatch. There are still just as many kind of looming questions and, to a certain extent, red herrings. The nature of this type of mystery, like, once it unfolds, a lot of the tension within the story leading up to this gets kind of broken. So, like, one of the things I have always loved about Agatha Christie, and what makes her work especially rereadable and very, like, screen adaptable, is that once you know how the mystery ends, the story becomes more enjoyable the second time. And, like, now knowing how the thing resolves, the pit and the darkness of the pit and the tree and the light of the tree. Like that's it. That's the vergence, the light and the dark, and the power that was used to create the girls for whatever reason we still don't know. And so yeah, for the story, the Jedi are a symbol of cultural oppression, emotional suppression, all this stuff. And even within the next season, if it becomes revealed that the reason that the girls were created was intensely sinister, and Saul actually delayed the enacting of that, whatever the sinister goal was, like even if that becomes revealed, the sourness of this moment is tough. And now I'm not going to focus on this sadness going forward. Like, you're probably not going to see me come back to this idea or any complaints that I might have or whatever between now and whenever season 2 happens, because there are lots of good things to talk about within the show. Choreography was fantastic. The design of everything was really, really excellent. The visuals were great. And most of my complaints, I think I could chalk up to being a symptom of the episode length being what it was. And there's nothing about that that's going to change. 8 episodes, 30 minutes. That's sort of what we should expect, I guess. But the sadness isn't about being wrong about what I expected to happen or what I felt like was being telegraphed. The sadness isn't about the image of the Jedi being toppled. It's just that being part of a group that what I wanted wasn't what was made. And if nobody has ever told you this personally, let me be the one to say it. Not everything's going to be for you. But it's just not. There's 7 billion people in this world. Sometimes it's going to be for a group of people that have a very different experience of the world from you. And it is okay to feel the sadness in response to that experience. But it is not okay to take that sadness, convert it into anger, and then aim that anger at other people that didn't have fuck all to do with you experiencing sadness and failing to process it. Like, for a lot of people that watch this was a second chance at Rey and Kylo. And this time, nobody had to die for them to hold hands or embrace or whatever. And for people that experience the Jedi as a symbol of oppression rather than as a symbol of protection, this was a story that was very much about that. So this moment for any of us, it doesn't have to be a moment where we fight, where we tear down each other's joy, where we blame people for shit. It doesn't need to be what this moment's about. When a story isn't the story you were hoping for, it's the moment to understand better the world from someone that the story was for them. Thrawn's whole shtick was that he used art to understand his opposition. And so he used art as a way to examine or magnify or whatever the forces in opposition to his goals. And so we just need to take a tiny sliver of that and leave the rest of it. And the tiny sliver we're going to keep is using art to understand people. Because they may be your friends or they may be strangers. But if we start by seeing them as the opposition, then you already fucking missed it. The opportunity to extend compassion to a stranger is gone, and your ability to learn about yourself or somebody else is gone as well. Because as soon as they are the opposition, then you are not seeking to gain understanding, you are seeking to gain advantage. Then we lose the opportunity for the art to be a mirror. It can only be a lens that we see another person through. And if we're good, then we can take the art and turn it into a mirror so that we can understand ourselves better as well. Because understanding somebody else with empathy and compassion can be the thing that helps you be honest with yourself about some shit that you need to change. Or it can be the forgiveness that you are willing to offer to a stranger that you are not willing to extend to yourself. Have a good night, everybody.